They're living past 100, not in hospitals or wheelchairs, but on their feet, laughing with family, climbing hills, and cooking meals from scratch. These aren't superhumans. They're real people from blue zones, the 5 places on Earth with the highest number of healthy centenarians. And while genetics play a role, it's what they eat every single day that holds the real secret. So what's on their plates? The answers may surprise you, and they might just change your future. They wake up without alarm clocks. They garden, walk hills, laugh with their neighbors, and cook their own meals, even at 97. In places like Okinawa, Japan, and Nicoya, Costa Rica, people routinely live past 100, and not just survive, but thrive. They aren't clinging to life. They're enjoying it. Their minds are sharp. Their bodies still strong. And here's the most fascinating part. They're not doing anything extreme. No miracle supplements, no punishing workouts, no rigid diets, just everyday habits done with purpose. And at the center of it all is what they eat. Researchers have studied these so-called blue zones for decades, areas around the world where people live significantly longer and healthier lives than the rest of us. We're talking about places like Sardinia in Italy, Loma Linda in California, Icaria in Greece, and the mountainous regions of Costa Rica. These are regions where reaching 90 or even 100 isn't a rare achievement. It's a common expectation. So, what's their secret? It's not just the food itself, but the relationship they have with it. Meals are slow. Ingredients are fresh. Food is often grown in their own backyard or bought from a neighbor down the street. And it's not just about nutrition, it's about connection. Meals aren't eaten in front of the TV. They're shared at long wooden tables, surrounded by laughter and stories. The food brings nourishment, yes, but it also brings community, joy, and routine. What's remarkable is that despite being spread across continents, these blue zones share strikingly similar dietary patterns. Meals are plant-forward. That doesn't mean no meat, but meat is used more like a side dish, just a few times a month, often for special occasions. Instead, their plates are piled with vegetables, beans, whole grains, nuts, and fruits. These foods don't just fuel the body, they protect it. They're rich in antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory compounds that keep the brain sharp and the heart strong well into old age. Even their approach to portions is different. In Okinawa, there's a phrase, hara hachi bu, which means eat until you're 80% full. It's not a hard rule. It's a mindset, eating mindfully with gratitude and stopping before fullness becomes discomfort. This gentle practice alone has been linked to lower rates of obesity, metabolic disease, and inflammation. So while much of the modern world is caught in the cycle of quick fixes and fad diets, these long-lived communities are quietly proving that simple, natural eating, done consistently, is more powerful than any trending health hack. It's not about avoiding certain foods. It's about embracing the ones that give life. And the best part? You don't need to move to Greece or live on a mountain to reap the benefits, because in the next section we're going to look inside their kitchens, literally, and show you exactly which everyday foods show up in the lives of the longest living people on Earth. Step into any kitchen in a blue zone, and you won't find protein powders, low-carb snacks, or shelves stacked with supplements. What you will find is a pot of beans simmering on the stove, a basket of fresh vegetables just pulled from the garden, maybe a loaf of whole grain sourdough cooling on the counter. Their kitchens are simple, but they hold the real secrets to longevity. Let's start with one of the staples across nearly every blue zone, beans. Black beans in Nicoya, lentils and chickpeas in Icaria and Sardinia, soybeans in Okinawa. These humble little legumes show up in nearly every meal, often cooked from scratch. They're high in protein, packed with fiber, and rich in compounds that help regulate blood sugar and reduce inflammation. But the magic isn't just in what they provide. it's in what they replace. Beans often take the place of processed meats, refined carbs, and sugary snacks, and that makes all the difference. Next, there's the bread, but not the kind you'll find on supermarket shelves. In Sardinia, for example, they eat a type of sourdough made from ancient grains like barley. It's naturally fermented, full of gut-friendly probiotics, and loaded with fiber that slows digestion and keeps blood sugar steady. Bread isn't the villain here. It's the way we've industrialized it that's caused the problem. In blue zones, bread is handmade, dense, and nourishing. Now look at what's in their pantries. You'll see olive oil, not vegetable oil, real sea salt, not overly processed table salt, herbs like rosemary, turmeric, and oregano, used not just for flavor but for their powerful anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. These aren't just seasonings, they're natural medicine, woven into daily meals. Fruit is everywhere, but not in smoothies or sugary juices. It's eaten whole. Papayas, bananas, and guavas in Costa Rica, figs and oranges in Greece. These aren't desserts. They're part of the main event. Rich in antioxidants, they protect the body from cellular aging and help repair oxidative damage that accumulates with time. And let's talk about what you won't find. Ultra-processed snacks, sugary sodas, packaged diet meals. The Blue Zone diet doesn't rely on labels like keto or low fat. It doesn't require apps or calculators. It relies on tradition, real food, eaten slowly, made at home, and shared with others. Even the way they prepare food is part of the magic. Meals are rarely rushed. Ingredients are often prepped by hand, chopping, peeling, soaking, fermenting. These rituals not only enhance nutrient availability, they create rhythm and mindfulness around eating. It's nourishment without stress, food as connection, not just fuel. And here's the kicker. They're not thinking about longevity. They're not eating these meals because they're afraid of death. They're eating them because it's what their mothers and grandmothers passed down. The longevity? That's just the side effect. But what if you're not living in a blue zone? What if your schedule is packed and your pantry is far from traditional? Don't worry, because in the next section, we're going to simplify it all. The longevity starter plate. The core food blueprint anyone, anywhere can follow to start eating like a 100-year-old. Starting tonight. Let's cut through the noise. You don't need to live in Sardinia or grow your own vegetables to eat like a centenarian. What you need is a simple framework, a longevity starter plate built on the same timeless principles the Blue Zones have followed for generations. And here's the good news. It's probably easier than you think. Start with the foundation. Plants. At every meal, the majority of your plate should come from plants. That means vegetables like spinach, carrots, kale, sweet potatoes, onions, and zucchini. Not fancy superfoods. Just regular vegetables, ideally fresh or frozen, cooked simply, and seasoned well. In blue zones, they're often sautéed in olive oil, stewed with beans, or tossed raw with vinegar and herbs. Now add the protein, but shift your mindset. Protein doesn't always mean meat. In fact, in most blue zones, animal products are eaten occasionally, not daily. Think beans, lentils, tofu, and peas. They're not just cheaper. They're packed with fiber, minerals, and protective phytonutrients. If you enjoy meat, keep it as a small side, 2 or 3 ounces, a few times a week, just like they do in Ikaria or Okinawa. Then comes the grain, whole and hearty. Think barley, brown rice, oats, quinoa, or corn tortillas. These aren't the refined, bleached, and stripped-down carbs most people are used to. These are grains in their original form, full of B vitamins and slow-burning energy. In Nicoya, they eat handmade corn tortillas with nearly every meal. In Sardinia, it's barley soup. You don't need a nutrition label to know it's healthy. It's food your grandmother would recognize. Add a healthy fat, not from margarine, canola oil, or low-fat spreads, but from sources like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, and nuts. In fact, nuts are a daily staple in all blue zones. Just a handful of almonds, walnuts, or pistachios a day has been linked to lower mortality rates and better heart health. Sprinkle them over your salad, add them to your oatmeal, or snack on them instead of something that comes in a shiny package. And let's not forget flavor. Blue Zone meals aren't bland. They use garlic, onion, fresh herbs, and spices generously. In Ikaria, oregano and rosemary. In Okinawa, turmeric and miso. These seasonings aren't just for taste. They offer anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting benefits that stack up over time. So what does a longevity starter plate look like? It might be a bowl of lentil soup with olive oil-drizzled vegetables and sourdough bread, or rice and black beans with sliced avocado and grilled squash, or oatmeal topped with berries, walnuts, and a swirl of honey. Simple, delicious, and the exact kind of meal that fuels bodies well into the 90s. This isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. If even 70% of your meals follow this model, you're already shifting toward the habits that define the healthiest populations on Earth. And if you're wondering how they snack or what they drink, we'll get to that too. Because in the next section, we'll explore the between-meal habits, secret beverages, and daily rituals that quietly support these long lives, without anyone counting calories. It's not just what they eat. It's what they do between meals that quietly builds health over a lifetime. In blue zones, the habits that extend life often happen in the margins. A midday sip of herbal tea, a barefoot walk through the garden, a slow meal with family. These aren't health fads. They're woven into the fabric of daily life, and they make all the difference. Let's start with snacking. You won't find chips, cookies, or protein bars in the cupboards of a Sardinian grandmother, but you will find raw almonds in a ceramic bowl, walnuts from the tree out back, a piece of fruit picked from the tree that morning. In Okinawa, elders reach for boiled sweet potatoes, rich in antioxidants, fiber, and slow-burning energy. In Nicoya, it's slices of papaya or mango, sometimes paired with fresh cheese. These snacks aren't eaten out of boredom. They're eaten when hungry, and with full attention. Then there's what they drink. Forget energy drinks and soda. In Ikaria, people start the day with a cup of mountain tea, an herbal infusion made from local plants like sage, oregano, and rosemary. It's not just soothing, it's packed with polyphenols and anti-inflammatory compounds. In Sardinia, it's coffee in the morning, red wine with dinner. And in Okinawa, it's jasmine tea, slowly sipped between gardening and meals. These drinks don't just hydrate. They protect the brain, support the heart, and help calm the nervous system. But here's something even more powerful: movement without the gym. No one in a blue zone is logging steps on a smartwatch, but they are moving constantly, walking to a neighbor's house, carrying vegetables from the garden, sweeping the porch. These natural movements, low intensity, repeated daily, help maintain strength, flexibility, and balance. In Sardinia, men in their 90s still herd sheep across steep hills, not because they have to, but because they want to. It's part of who they are. And then there's ritual. One of the most overlooked longevity secrets isn't physical, it's emotional. In Loma Linda, California, Seventh-day Adventists honor a weekly Sabbath, a full day of rest, connection, and reflection. In Okinawa, people gather with their moai, small social groups they belong to for life, sharing burdens and joy. In Nicoya, elders start their mornings with quiet gratitude and strong coffee before beginning the day's work. These aren't add-ons, they're essential. Because stress, isolation, and chronic anxiety chip away at the body from the inside out. Blue zone rituals act like armor, protecting the nervous system, building resilience, and extending vitality. These habits aren't about willpower, they're about environment. Everything in a blue zone is designed to nudge people toward better choices, without even thinking about it. And the beauty is, you can start recreating that environment right now. You don't need to move across the world. You just need to make your home, your kitchen, and your schedule reflect the priorities that lead to health. Because longevity isn't found in one big decision. It's shaped in the small ones, between the bites, in the pauses, through the rhythm of everyday life. And speaking of rhythm, in the next section, we'll take everything you've learned and walk you through a simple one-day sample. Your first 24 hours of Blue Zone living, made modern, accessible, and real. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with one simple mission: live like someone who's going to turn 100 and enjoy every step of the journey. That's the heart of the Blue Zone lifestyle. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about creating a rhythm, a daily flow that aligns your habits with health, longevity, and joy. So what does that actually look like? Let's walk through it. The day begins with calm, not a blaring alarm, not a scroll through headlines, just 5 minutes to breathe, stretch, or stand in the sunlight. In Okinawa, elders step outside barefoot and greet the morning with gratitude. You can start with a warm cup of tea, jasmine, ginger, or mint, anything soothing that eases you into the day. A little movement helps too. No need for a workout. Just walk around your home, do some gentle stretching, maybe sweep the front porch. You're signaling to your body, we're awake, we're moving, we're ready. Breakfast isn't skipped. In fact, in nearly all Blue Zones, it's the biggest meal of the day. Think of a bowl of steel-cut oats topped with walnuts, fresh berries, and a drizzle of honey. Or sprouted grain toast with avocado and olive oil. In Nicoya, they might have rice, black beans, and fruit first thing. The goal? Whole foods, mostly plants, enough to satisfy without spiking blood sugar. And coffee? Absolutely. 1 or 2 cups of black or lightly sweetened coffee are common, especially in Sardinia and Icaria. Mid-morning. It's time to move again. But not at the gym. Maybe you walk the dog, tend to the garden, visit a neighbor, or clean the house. Movement is woven into the fabric of the day. It's not forced. It's functional, and it keeps blood flowing, joints moving, and energy steady. Lunch comes early afternoon. Keep it light and colorful. A salad with beans and olive oil. Roasted vegetables with quinoa. Soup with lentils and fresh herbs. If you're still hungry, a slice of whole grain bread or some fresh fruit rounds it out. And here's the key: sit down. Turn off the TV. Enjoy it slowly, because digestion starts with relaxation. Lunch comes early afternoon. Keep it light and colorful. A salad with beans and olive oil. Roasted vegetables with quinoa. Soup with lentils and fresh herbs. If you're still hungry, a slice of whole grain bread or some fresh fruit rounds it out. And here's the key: sit down. Turn off the TV. Enjoy it slowly, because digestion starts with relaxation. The afternoon is for light activity, connection, or rest. In Icaria, they nap. In Loma Linda, they walk and talk. If you need a snack, reach for almonds, a handful of grapes, or a boiled egg. Keep it real. Keep it simple. Dinner is early and small. A bowl of soup, maybe some greens and sweet potatoes or lentils with a little rice. Blue Zone dinners are light because the body sleeps better that way. And in many regions, dinner is eaten with family or friends. It's not just about food, it's about the company. Evenings are screen-free and calm. Maybe a walk after dinner, maybe a book, maybe herbal tea. The pace slows, the body prepares for rest, and before bed, a small ritual, gratitude, prayer, or simply reflecting on the day's small wins. These moments reduce stress, lower cortisol, and help your system shift into recovery mode. And that's it. No tracking apps, no strict rules. Just a day in the life of someone aging with strength, joy, and purpose. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, a mindset shift. Because all the food and routines in the world won't matter if your outlook is filled with stress, fear, or disconnection. So in the final section, we're going to uncover the mental habits of the world's healthiest elders and how their simple, positive beliefs might just be the strongest medicine of all. If you ask a 100-year-old in Okinawa or Sardinia the secret to their long life, they probably won't mention antioxidants or resistance training. They'll talk about purpose, about laughter, about waking up with a reason to get out of bed. Their secret isn't just on the plate, it's in the mind. Because longevity isn't just what you eat, it's how you live. In Okinawa they have a word, ikigai. It roughly translates to a reason for being. It might be tending a garden, teaching grandchildren how to cook, or caring for a neighbor's chickens. In Nicoya, they call it plan de vida, a life plan, not a career goal, not a retirement fund. Just a simple driving sense of purpose that gives structure to their days and meaning to their actions. This sense of purpose has real biological power. Studies show that having a clear reason to wake up each day is linked to lower stress levels, better cardiovascular health, and even lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. It strengthens the immune system and supports hormonal balance. In short, your mindset is medicine. But it's not just purpose, it's positivity. In blue zones, people age with dignity. They embrace their years. There's no obsession with youth, no shame in slowing down. Aging isn't feared, it's honored. Elders are respected, valued, and included. That emotional support, being seen, needed, and loved, acts like a powerful buffer against loneliness, depression, and decline. And then there's faith. Not always religious, but spiritual in the truest sense. Whether it's prayer, meditation, Sabbath observance, or simply a daily walk through nature, people in blue zones stay connected to something larger than themselves. That connection brings calm. It lowers inflammation, improves sleep, and enhances resilience. In Loma Linda, Seventh-day Adventists observe a weekly day of rest. In Ikaria, residents attend church and pause often for reflection. In Okinawa, rituals of honoring ancestors are a daily practice. Gratitude is another powerful thread. It shows up in blessings before meals, in storytelling over tea, in appreciation for simple things, the sunrise, a breeze, a perfectly ripe fruit. This gratitude rewires the brain. It shifts focus from scarcity to abundance, from stress to serenity. So how do the world's healthiest elders think? They think in rhythm, in routine, in purpose. They're not chasing the next thing. They're living in the thing. And that's what keeps them going. Not anti-aging pills or biohacks, but a mindset that says, I am here, I have a role, and I am not done yet. And that might be the most powerful secret of all. Because in the end, longevity isn't about squeezing more years into your life. It's about filling the years you have with more life. And that starts not just with your next meal, but with your next thought, your next choice, your next smile. So tomorrow, when you rise, ask yourself one thing, not how long will I live, but what do I love so much I want to be here for it? That's the mindset of a centenarian, and it's available to you, starting today.